The problem they had studying Western music is because white men silence all the minority musicians. That's why we
Mm,
don't hear about the musician in India or China. And now we're only studying the biggest of the white men that create classical music. And
mm.
why are we taking this class? And I was like, after all, we're in the West. What's wrong with studying some Western music? And as soon as I say this, the professor was saying that I am brainwashed.
Mm.
And
Well, it's interesting. You were talking about reading the Bible in North Korea and how that is absolutely taboo with severe punishment associated with it. Have you noticed that the whole concept of faith is severely criticized at our educational institutions? It's for people who are weak-minded, who really can't think for themselves, when just the opposite is actually true.
it's amazing. North Korean denounces all religion, but they became God themselves, right? I mean, the only reason they won the fight of all other religion, especially Christianity, is because Northern regime copied the Bible and put Kim
Right.
Il Sung as a God and his son as Jesus Christ. And they told us that his body dies, but his spirit is with us all the time. He can read our minds. That's the exact same thing. They were trying to become gods themselves. And now in America, they say, even though we are in a country where we can support and respect all different kinds of beliefs, they don't do that. As soon as you say, if you say you're a Christian and you like to read the Bible, like you're so close-minded, are you stupid or something?
Right.
They shame you for that.
And the whole concept of the family also. The family is the foundational structure of a society. But if you want that society to be dependent upon the government, you diminish the family also. And do you find that to be the case in North Korea as well?
Yeah, I remember the before we ate each meal, the first thing that we had to do was standing up. Every room in North Korea, we have a portrait of dictators. We have to bow down. Dear leader, thank you so much for this meal that we are given today. Even though that was not being fed by the dictator, it was fed by my own father who was risking his own life to feed us and protect us. And the teachers will teach
Mm.
us, your father is just biological father, is not the important father. Your real father is our dear leader. That is the most important father that we need to respect and protect and worship. So
So
teachers,
when you pray at school, you pray to the dictator and not to God?
yes, we don't know the word God. They don't teach us the word God. So we don't even know the word prayer. We don't even know what praying means.
Mm.
So they got rid of all those vocabularies in our dictionary. Like in America right now, they're obsessed of getting rid of a lot of words because it offends some people's feelings, right? In North
Right.
Korea, they got rid of so many vocabularies. Like we don't know the word stress because how can you be stressed living in a socialist paradise? So they got rid of the word stress. They got rid of the human rights. They got rid of the word like God. We don't have the word for love. And Kim Jong-un even banned Mother's Day because he was worrying that if we love our own mothers, we are not going to love him as much. So he even denies the love between mother and the child.
I'm so glad you got out of there. It's
For
just
sure.
amazing. And I wish that people could share your experience. Maybe one day it'll be made into a movie, so that people can actually see what is going on and what happens when you throw God out, you throw family out, you throw freedom, individual freedoms out, you begin to persecute people with whom you disagree, and you could very easily end up with a place like that. And it has happened so many times throughout history if people would just inform themselves of what's going on. And I think your voice is incredibly important. Um, you've actually become quite famous by speaking out at the United Nations, at the State Department, Google, Facebook. You've given a TED Talk. But as a result of that, it also puts a target on your back. And, there are people who've tried to cancel you. They will continue to try to do that because you fly in the face of the propaganda that they're trying to spread. I've experienced the same thing. You're not supposed to come from an environment like I came from and be successful. You're not, it's not supposed to happen because you're supposed to be a victim. And obviously we need to fight all of that because that's not who we are. You're certainly not a victim. You're the poster child for somebody who is not a victim. And I just want to thank you for being willing to speak out and to share with people. I think it makes a big difference. And I just want to ask you for any last thoughts that you might want to impart to the American people.
Oh, thank you for all your kind words. The reason why I named my book While Time Remains is that I feel that we do not have that much time left for us to turn this back, the country that where it was. I came to the country actually, interestingly enough, when you were running for the office in 2016.
Mm.
And I couldn't believe what was happening to you, and anybody, like what you said, disagrees with the political correctness. They completely destroy you and they manipulate the truth. And I was thinking, this country has no mercy. I thought this country was like the land of God with mercy and forgiveness and love, and it became so vicious, like the communist, like dictatorships. And
Yeah.
and living through the pandemic, I had a young toddler who was like 2 years old. That they opened the dog parks for the dogs to go walk out and exercise, but they would close down the children playground in the summer for 2 years. And they would make sure that my child wears a mask up to here 8 hours a day in a daycare. And this is abuse. This is the most extreme abuse to the most vulnerable population that are children. And because of their ideology, even though COVID was not affecting my 2 years old, they were making sure that even though adults could go clubbing without masks on, children had to wear masks for 8 hours a day. And that really made me realize I need to fight for this country for my son's sake. Because when I was escaping from North Korea, I had a place to escape to. I had America, I had South Korea. If America falls, this country loses freedom, are we gonna escape to North Korea or China? Where are we going? I
Yeah.
mean, we have nowhere else to go, and this is the last hope for humanity, and this is the last hope for me, certainly. That's why I'm dying
Mhm.
to fight for this country right now.
Well, thank you. Thank you so much for your courage to do that. I think it's going to make a difference. I actually think a lot of people are starting to wake up. It's always darkest before the dawn. Sometimes it has to be pretty dark before people can see the light. But I think that light is shining, and I think more people are seeing it. And you're part of that light. And I want to thank you and wish you the best. And keep it up. Keep up the good work.
Thank you.
And we'll be right back with my closing thoughts for this week.